Greetings, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Pure Vibes Podcast Show. I am your host, King Fire, the Fresh King, alongside with my beautiful co-host,
Lady Lotus, Queen of Positive Vibes.
And welcome back, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Madness. You know, Lady Lotus.
For sure. How are you today?
Peace and love.
Obnoxious per usual.
I'm well. I'm alive. Another day above ground is always a happy day for me.
I like how you try to sound so, what's the word?
What? I'm Zen. When you look up the word Zen, I am it.
Are you?
Know? Cool yourself, no what happened to you. But how are you, my lady? What's been going on with you? How are you? How are things?
I'm good. I feel really good. Everything is good. No complaints.
That's good. We'll take a cut right there because I also make sure that mic is happily where it needs to be. But
so what's up?
Well, that's good. I'm glad we're back here for another episode again. You know, we're on the road. We're gonna get back on track. There's so many different topics and so many different things going on to talk about. It's so much. Like we have to broaden our scope of our discussion now because information is moving and grooving. You know. But I do want to talk to you about something though. And people out there in YouTube land.
Oh Lord. Here we go, y'all.
I'm watching Shannon Sharp, right, on his show. I think you have a show called Club Shay Shay or something like that. Right? And he was talking about taking a lady out on a date one time. You know, he was in his early part of his career. He didn't really have a lot of money yet. He wanted to wine and dine this girl. They're at the restaurant. You know, she's looking through a menu, but she's taking a little more time than usual to search through the menu. So he reached over to her and he asked her, you know, what's going on, baby? You still looking for what you're trying to find? And she's like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what go with this lobster. And my boy said, yeah, I'm going to tell you what it is. He said, condoms. I lost it when I heard that. I say, yo, my boy is serious. He right to the point. He direct. Now, as a woman, was that being honest? And should she respect that? Or do you see that as being disrespectful?
I think if he hadn't stated his expectations prior to the date, it's a little obnoxious for sure. Because I think as a man that you have to understand that dating is something that you have to be in position to do. So if you can't afford to date, you shouldn't be dating. So
what you're telling me is if I buy a meal, don't expect the draws to come along with the...
Absolutely not.
I mean,
if I like you and it's a vibe, we're grown. If that's where the energy takes us, so be it. I mean, I don't personally think I go into a date with a yes or a no. Right. You get what I'm saying? I'm not opposed either way. I'm an energy person. I feel like if it goes there, yeah. But when you ask for it, it kind of automatically is a turnoff.
Kills the vibe, kills the moment.
For sure. And I feel like in the day and time that we live in, there are platforms, if you will, where if your condom is that big a deal to you, then you need to go somewhere where you can make sure that that's a secure thing for you. Swipe your subscription to your OnlyFans and have your way.
All right, so what about the women, right, that are doing the meals on wheels? I like to call it meals. Call it what you want to. I call it meals on wheels because I'm hearing about... This? It can't be all these men. See me, I don't trick on women. Let me know. Let me say, when it comes to me,
proper word.
When it comes to me, my friends that I care about, the woman that I care about in my world, I don't mind spending money on them. But you see this random woman, her mind just be tricking off money on a random woman, thinking it's going to get them somewhere. I don't live by that code. And that's why a lot of men find themselves with meals on wheels dates.
Is that her fault though?
Yes, because it's only food she's looking for. You know what he's looking for and you trying to beat him to the punch. It's a game. That's all it is. Oh, he think he's going to get me tonight to take me home? I'm going to eat this food and never... Why are you eating the man food? He shouldn't expect something now?
These must be very bottom of the barrel women. Like, I don't get that. The group of women that I associate myself with, we go on dates together all of the time and can spend $100 on ourselves. You get what I'm saying? So to think that a meal is a meal is a come up.
You know how many people can't get a meal? I just want to put that out there. I'm not saying it's right.
To me, a meal is nowhere near. Now, I can see if you took me on a trip and I never called you. A meal is insane.
So, is there a price for it?
That's a great question.
Because now because then it comes down to that. Does it have a price? Is it priceless or does it have a price?
I think so, but for me, it's not monetary. For me, the price is respect. You get what I'm saying? So the respect to make my own decision. You don't get to bully me into doing it. Like I said, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. And I know that I'm probably not even going to go on a date with a guy who I don't think I would give it to.
Well,
because for what?
You know what we as most men have figured out, right?
What's that?
That women could tell within the first few minutes or seconds of meeting a man whether she has some type of sexual attraction to this man or not.
For sure.
Right? So I feel like, there's always that type of thing in your mind. When she giving me some type of play, I wonder how much kind of play.
But then you can play yourself out of it. Because my initial interaction with you could be like, he a vibe. And then I could get around you and be like, he's irritating.
So when we go, you know what I mean? If you start getting that type of question, if you start getting like, am I one of those, so when you going to let me, when you going to let me spend the night? So we go out to dinner, right? We have a nice meal. We smoke a little something, drink a little something.
Yeah.
And after that, we chilling, we talking. I'm like, so what you about to do after this?
Get your vibe up, my guy, is what I would say to him. Because if you are the type of man who has to say it, your vibe is trash. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, you should have enough confidence in yourself that I know by the end of the night I'm in there. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you gotta be like, when am I spending the night and all of that, that's first of all, it's corny. It's very corny to me. That's just me. I don't want you to ask me for it because I want to feel like I'm making a choice to give it to you. Right. And a meal, I went on a date a couple months ago and I paid for my own check because I felt like that's where he was going with it. But you can't bully me.
So you beat him to the punch.
When the waiter walked by and asked, were we ready for the check? I requested 2 checks.
Now see, that's a player move right there. You know what a man will usually do? Walk to the bathroom, right? Tell the waiter, when you bring out them checks, make sure it's 2 checks. You don't have to say nothing, just bring out 2 checks. And when you come out to the table, you bring out 2 checks.
I didn't like the way it was going. I knew
What about it you didn't like?
He was disrespectful. He was very aggressive, and I don't like aggressive men. I think that when a man is aggressive with a woman, either he doesn't like her or he doesn't like women. Period.
Now, let me ask you something. I've heard you say that before, right? And I want to get your perspective of this man not liking women thing. Is that a personal thing to you, or is that a generalized statement? Do you see that as like, it doesn't even matter if it's another woman, you see that happening and you feel like, or do you think because it happens to you, he don't like women?
No. This is a broad, because I deal with the general public, so I see a lot of comings and goings. But I've also had this experience as well. And to me, it's very unnatural for a man who is already in natural aggression anyway to be aggressive with a woman. Why? What? You don't need to be. You don't ever need to be, because we can, as adults, as mature people, we can agree that this is not for either one of us, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You get what I'm saying? And he was very disrespectful. And I knew that the flow, actually I was ready to go. I had been ready to go.
It was that type
but of no, for real. But we met and I was in the car with him. And so I knew that I needed to get back to my car because we were a significant distance away. Now, I'm prepared. I can jump in a lift or whatever and get back to my car. But the preference would be to go the way I came, to get back the way that I came. But I knew that was the end for me. Because if you're this aggressive preliminarily, like, there's no way I feel comfortable for the night with you. And so he wasn't my cup of tea. And once I made the observation, I didn't want him to feel like you said, like I was trying to play him out of a meal.
Right.
Like, it's whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like, he actually made the comment, how did he say it? I'm gonna feed your ass and that's it.
He didn't say that. My boy
he definitely did.
Say that.
He asked me where I wanted to go. I'm a seafood person. And apparently he doesn't like seafood, but we never had that conversation.
Okay.
So then when
wait. Let's stick a pin in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who should the onus be on to have that conversation?
I think it could go either way. I don't think it was a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think when the conversation came up, instead of being upset about it, let's find a compromise.
Yeah, but so you don't think that should have been something one of you should have just brought up or discussed in the group?
Maybe, but I don't think...
If somebody have an allergy, if somebody have a, you know?
Yeah, maybe, like in your case with you being vegan or whatever.
Right.
No, I definitely get it. And I don't think it was something that we naturally looked over. I just think we didn't think about it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so
you would say both parties could take...
Yeah, for sure. But I didn't think it was a big deal. I just thought it was something that got lost in the shuffle. For me, it was just a point of compromise.
Right.
So, okay, so what do you like? Because I can bend. It wasn't that big a deal to me, but the way he responded to it, I didn't like at all. Because don't suggest, my boy, that you buying this meal is a make or break for me. And then you could tell when a man is intimidated because he was like, oh, you think you a boss? And then I'm like, okay, now I see what this is about.
Have you had these jovial conversations with this man before? Like, were you guys in a comfortable spot where he could be playful like this to you? Or were these things that you feel like he really internally felt about you?
We talked for weeks before we ever linked. So this was the first time I was seeing this side of him. So I was very shocked because there's no way I would have connected with a man that gave me that type of vibe.
Right.
I don't do aggression when it comes to men because I just don't think it's necessary from a man. I think a man has a real man, a mature man has a presence about him already that's already kind of naturally dominate. It's not dominate like take over, but your presence is manly. You get what I'm saying? So then when you take on this with a woman, to me that speaks to a very deep defect inside of you, that either you have a severe issue with women or you don't like women. So perhaps he'd rather be out with his boy, who knows? But for whatever reason, we didn't jive. I paid my own tab. I got back to my car and I left.
So what did he say? Did he say anything when he seen you paying the tab? He was like, no, I got it.
Oh yeah, he was pissed. You could tell he was very egotistical because I feel like whatever a man leads with, he feels like it's his strength. So usually if a man leads with sex, he has good sex, he's usually broke. If a man leads with money, he may have mediocre sex, but that's his power, that's his control.
You gotta have something, right?
You gotta have something, but when you, in your comings and goings, you just learn these things. Like whatever a man leads with, he feels like it's his strength, it's his strongest asset when it comes to you. Now, I don't know if he's like that generally, but whatever I see a man lead with, I make note of it. Because that's what he's going to use as his leverage. But I wanted him to know in that moment, you can't control me with money because that's nothing. I can pay my own meal. I'll buy my meal before I sit here and be uncomfortable and let you disrespect me. And I checked him for sure. I paid the tab and checked.
But there you have it, fellas. When you see you're making movements, you have to give these ladies their respect and their space and all of that, man. Because some of them independently could do it themselves, and some of them are not looking for a come up from us.
Is a meal a come up though? Y'all gotta relax.
Cheesecake Factory, but some of them are.
A meal?
Cheesecake Factory.
That's gonna be in the toilet in a few hours. What kind of come up is a meal?
But that's what I'm trying to say though. Some women do that. Some women use that. Even that Cheesecake Factory woman, right?
That was, you saw the whole, did you see the whole video?
Yeah, I seen the whole video. I seen the follow-up. I seen a little few.
Did you see how humble she got after she knew that she was just a goofy anyway? She made that man wait. He had other plans for her, and she's lucky that he even went the extra mile to still take her out. Making a man wait for an hour after he told you when to expect him is insane. It's arrogant. It's disrespectful. And I don't play them type of games. I'm not a gamer. I don't want to play. And if I am playing, it's because I know you're playing. But if it's somebody that I'm interested in, I don't always have time to play, but when I got time to play, I'll play. But if I'm really interested in you, I'm not gonna play with you. But if I need to play with you to get what I want out of you, yeah, I might make you think I like you because, you know, we have good energy in certain areas.
So when you get back that same energy, do you feel some type of way about it?
No. Because, I mean, if you know what it is, you get what I'm saying? Like, consistency is will tell you a lot about a person.
I mean, like
once you see how they move, you want to play hopscotch, let's jump. So if you come through from time to time and I like what you bring when you come through, I may be available for that, for somebody that's how we vibe. If that's our understanding, so be it. But don't come around me and try to make me think you're pursuing me, and it's not that. If you just want to have sex, I think a man should put that out there and just take your chance. Just like you taking your chance of her having that meal and not calling you. Take your chance and be straight up. I'm really attracted to you, and I want to be with you like that. You get what I'm saying? Either way, it's a risk. But I think...
And then when some men do that, they still come up short, because women find it disrespectful.
I think it's a way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I
think it's a way to do it.
I would agree with that's not really what you do, but it's how you do it.
For sure, because we feel the same way sometimes. There's a lot of men that you could be attracted to or have grade A sex that you would never be with. You get what I'm saying? If that's what you're good for, that's what you're good for. Like at this stage of the game, at 20, I didn't feel like that. At 30, I didn't feel like that. But in my 40s, what are we playing for?
So that leads me back to what we were talking about on the last episode when I was asking about, is it just best to have a companion these days over having a relationship? You know?
I think best is subjective. I think if you want what you want, I think you should hold out for what you want. Don't settle. Because in the end, you will never be happy if you settle.
Right.
But in the interim, I mean, what is it hurting?
You have a point.
I mean, we have needs just like y'all. That's the thing. Like, men act like women don't have the same needs. The same need is there.
It's not even that. It's just that women come off like they don't. Women come off like men are so much of dogs and they're so prim and proper and clean, and women do it the best.
I think the problem with men is they dress it up like they want more than that. That's where our issue comes in at.
I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
And that's because...
Don't lead me on. Don't, because that's playing with me.
That's because a lot of women are looking for more than that. And from time that is the majority of what's going on, men are going to start watering down their shit now. They're not going to...
I mean, I am looking for more than that. But if you can be the maintenance man in between, you know. If your application gets approved, then so be it.
Oh my goodness.
But when the big man that's putting that pressure on come through, you got to move around.
Move around?
Yeah.
Move around is crazy.
What do you think you should keep that spot if a man comes through that's offering me what I want? Well, I'm going to hold space for you.
You've been holding a space for them.
You was a seat filler.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? How women just be vicious?
That's not vicious. That's honest.
Viciousness.
You're not willing to give me what I want. I said what I want. You're not willing to give me that, which is fine. I don't hold anything against you for being honest about what you want or don't want. So I respect you for that, but at the same time, I still want what I want. So in the interim, if we're having good sex, if we're having good vibes, if we go out and have a good time, so be it. I'm not hurting anything in my world because I'm completely single. But if what comes along is what I want, I cannot play with him and I'm just playing with you. It's not worth the risk. Especially if I know if it don't work out with him, I can still call you back.
They're vicious, fellas. They're vicious.
It's facts. Only difference between y'all and us is we'll say it and y'all won't.
That might be true.
This is what I'm saying.
That's a slight possibility. It might
couldn't even say it.
It might be true. I don't like to paint things with a broad scope, you know? You know how that is already, right?
I'm taking shots.
All right. Moving on. I was doing some reading, right? Which I like to do in my spare time every now and then.
You read?
I mean, you know. But I'm reading up more on sex education and, the female body and so on and so forth. And I'm coming across a section on the female orgasm, right? And you would be surprised to how many women, right, are in their 40s and 50s and things like that and never fully experience multiple different types of orgasms, you know, from G-spot or clitoral stimulation, right? And there's a lot of women that are not comfortable with their bodies, a lot of women that not even aware of this, you know, they just think it's something that you might see on TV and it's not, their body can't even do it. And I think it's a lack of sex education and maybe a lack of women getting in tune with their, you know, feminine self or their feminine goddess, you know what I mean, or their, you know, I don't know, but how do you feel about that? What is the conversation amongst because I mean, you spend a lot of time with women having deep conversations like this. What is the perspective on that, or what is the ratio on that for women nowadays?
You would be surprised how many women sit in my chair and take L's for the sake of stroking his ego.
So you're basically saying they're faking it to make the man feel good? Is that what I'm? Is that
either
what I'm
faking
receiving?
it or not being completely honest?
That's how I want to swallow for men with shallow ego.
It is, and I think that's why a lot of women do it, because I don't want to break him. How do I tell him this?
I feel what men problem is, there's a lot of selfishness in there where men are just trying to get theirs off, and because they don't really understand women body. And then when some women are faking and lying and making these fake noises and have y'all mind them out there gassed up like y'all doing something when y'all really not, and she talking shit to her friends behind your back, you have to watch out for them stuff.
Well, it's controversial because, you know, I have these conversations with women and, you know, it always comes up, well, is it good? And she'll say, yeah. And then she'll be like, but I didn't climax. And for me, it's like, that's unfinished business. You get what I'm saying? Like, how can it be good if you didn't, in essence, you didn't finish?
I mean,
that's unfortunate. And it's also unacceptable.
I personally don't understand for some men the selfishness in that, because to me, right, a woman body is something you want to be in tune with. Like, I feel like you want to be in tune with it, you want to explore it, you want to take it, if you have the right type of woman, because every man's situation is different, right?
I think that's the mature perspective.
What is?
What you just said. Like, you want to be in tune with a woman's body.
But every woman is different, though. Some women are not comfortable with their bodies, so allow you that. So you got to think about a man that's been married to a woman for 10, 15 years, right? And she has an insecurity with her body, not allowing herself to be explored and entertained. How can he learn? How can he get better? You know what I mean? What is he going to do in that situation now? Should he get divorced? Should he leave?
No, I think I think in our culture, we have an issue with the hard conversations. The hard conversations are points of growth. And I think that a lot of men are not ready to hear the truth, and a lot of women are not ready to share their truth with men. I think the mature perspective, like you said, is to want to know a woman's body, but that's because you have the position of pleasing her. That's not most men's position. I mean, and you have to be adamant with men most times about what it really is. Boundaries are a real thing. You have to let a nigga know, like, this ain't that. This ain't that, because as a 43-year-old woman, I refuse to be a disposal for your, you know.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like, because if you don't want to please me, you are merely just using my body as a dump. You get what I'm saying? And I think, and men can be mature in a lot of ways. Like, maturity is so subjective. Like, you could be strong in this area and suck in this area, and vice versa. You have a man that can take you to the moon but can't have a conversation, or can have in-depth conversation and can't make you climax. But I think it's all a conversation. I think it's healthy to talk about sex too. Like, after we have sex, let's have a nice stimulating recap. That's a good way to.
I don't know if that's the sexiest thing in the moment.
Why? Not in the moment, but the next day. And if I text you and be like,
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
That spot to the left, you really showed off. You get what I'm saying?
No, I can see that. I think that communication is very important when it comes to
Yes, and it's also foreplay.
But until I start to get older now, I really start to understand how really important that is. You know?
Does it help you sexually? Does it make your experience better? Do you feel like because you study and because you know and you're more in tune, do you feel like you have better sexual experiences?
I feel like I'll be a champion after all this studying. I feel like I'm after all this studying, I feel like I'm a champion.
Then the question becomes, does she feel like?
To be continued. But
because that's where you shouldn't feel like a champion unless you've been stamped as a champion.
Well,
because you could. Listen, it's all relative, right? Because you can walk around beating on your chest and you're not doing nothing.
No, you're absolutely right.
Correct.
You're absolutely right about that.
You should get that stamp from her. That's when you walk around like King Dingaling.
Well, listen, I would never, I don't know about. Listen, this ain't about me. But man have to. If you're gonna beat your chest, I agree with you. Let the woman in them give you the crown, the belt, and the validation, because they are the ones that's gonna be able to tell you.
So I have a question. I was talking to some of the fellas at the shop, and they said some men think female ejaculation is nasty, is outlandish, it's too much.
Some of them are my weirdos.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why that would be too much. I don't know what.
I mean, honestly, it could get really messy.
Yeah, but what are we doing this for? To be neat? Like, sex is not a neat, clean thing. Sex is a very, it's body fluids and body parts everywhere, sweat, everything. I mean, and who's at that point you trying to be neat and clean?
I get it.
You worried about being dirty now? I mean,
I think it was a deflection because they couldn't show up in the conversation the way they wanted to. But a lot of men say that. I would say 8 men out of 10 said when I did a survey, because I'm always trying to gather information for these conversations. For sure. They said, 1, they didn't think it was a real thing. They thought it was staged, i.e. porn or whatever like that. Oh. And 2, they said that even if it is real, it doesn't happen for most men. It's something that maybe you hear about, but like your chances of it happening are slim.
And I think that's because
they don't know what they're doing.
I don't want to throw that out there like that. It's probably part of that too. And you men should look up the female G-spot. Look up female G-spot orgasm. There's lessons, classes, books, things you can look out to figure out how a woman, body is and different things like that.
So if you know that, can you achieve that with every woman? Because she has work to do too.
Well, but
that's something you have to let happen.
And if you do the research, right? Not every woman has accomplished it. But scientifically, what I've read is that most women have the capability and possibility.
The capability, yes. But it is also, so to be fair to you ladies, I don't want y'all to feel cheated if you never have. You have to work with your partner. It is mental. A lot of it is mental, because you could feel like it can be a very uncomfortable feeling initially, and it's something that you have to tell your mind that it's okay to do. So I think that if you don't have a clear understanding, that is something that you could talk yourself out of mentally.
I think the worst thing is to ever be in any type of sexual position with a woman that's uncomfortable. That's the most turn-off thing.
But do you know a lot of women are?
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, going through something like that, a woman has to be totally comfortable with her body. Yeah. Right? And 100% comfortable with you to allow her body to go through that. Because if a woman feels like something wrong is about to happen to her, right? Or she's not comfortable, her body tenses up, freezes up, and then everything shuts down, right? Same thing with a woman with her being wet, right? Or something went wrong. She could be in the middle of, and you could have said something or did something, and instantly you could make her to be turned off, right? So women are like that. So you have to make sure that she understands what's going on, you understand what you're doing, and that you both have that communication, like you were saying, and you're working together, not working against each other, because that's where the problems come in, I feel, a lot of times.
Ladies, don't wait for a man to explore you to find out these things. Sometimes it helps if you can give him a map in your navigation system as well. So make sure that you know your body. I think
this is important.
Excuse me. If you know your body, things tend to be a little easier too. It helps. It's great if he knows. I love when a man knows how to navigate. But if you know as well, it's like a really nice road trip.
Putting them on in the right direction, right? You can't miss.
Or letting him know that you're just open to it. A lot of people have boundaries sexually. I don't understand that because to me, it takes away from the experience. It's not organic if you're, I don't do this, don't do that. It's very...
That could be shut down too.
It's very ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I think if we just go into it and we just let our energy take us where it does, it can be a very beautiful thing.
When I was younger, definitely certain things didn't sting me too much or bother me too much. As I got older though, and I'm feeling more like a savage. Yeah.
He said it out of his own mouth.
I said feeling like, I didn't say was, I said feeling like,
It's an interesting choice of adjectives. I mean, but continue.
Yeah. I don't want that. I don't want the, don't do this, don't do that. I don't want all them boundaries in the bedroom.
That's why casual sex is not the way to go.
Because what do you consider casual though?
It's somebody you don't really know.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? Sex with connections, I think, take you there. If somebody you don't have a connection with, they're less inclined to explore you, please you, anything.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a wind back.
If you care about a person, it matters how they feel. So, yeah, for me, I'm less inclined casually because it's just going to be a moment. And I think I'm mature enough now to decline momentary satisfaction and hold out for
the real thing.
Big, bountiful experience.
Yeah.
Hold out for the savage ladies.
Listen, all right?
I'm just saying.
You get to a certain age, and I feel like I definitely understand what people are saying. You get to be in like a savage mode. Like you would have been a little more prim and proper in your young age. Like,
for sure.
If a woman was like, don't do this, don't do that, like, I don't care. I'm still getting the box, right? Now you're like, what?
Yeah.
Woman, skin out, spread out, turn upside down, flip, spin. You know what I mean? You want everything, man.
You got a little excited. You all right?
Let me stop. This has been another episode, family, of Pure Vibes, the podcast show with your host, King Shaka, the Fresh King, alongside my beautiful co-host.
Let me do it again. Say something bad.
Let me go and do it again.
I was gonna say something bad. Ladies, break the levee. But I'm Lady Lotus, Queen of the Positive Vibes, and we just here to shake some stuff up.
You already know. It's King Fire, the Fresh King, and this has been another episode of Pure Vibes, the podcast. Till next time, peace, love,
and orgasms.
That part too. Boom.